Sharif. I'm excited to have our student Jacob here with us today. You're about to hear his amazing transformation story. In our program, our coaching program, MForce, we have a lot of guys in there to do coaching program, and we want to hear Jacob's story today. So thanks for joining me, Jacob.
Thanks for having me, Josh. It's great to be on the channel with you.
Yeah, so maybe we should just start with your background, your struggle, where you came from, and kind of give us the down low on that.
Sure. So how I started as a child really is atypical. This sounds crazy to those listening to this, but I actually started college at the age of 11. And that sounds cool and all, and it was great. I graduated at 16. All that aside, from a social perspective, it greatly affected me with the fact that I was not socializing with kids my own age from the age of 11 into teenagehood. I never attended prom. I didn't have the same socialization experience as my normal peers would. So I was really socially awkward from the time of being an early teenager into my mid to even late 20s, I would say.
Wow. So yeah, I think that people misunderstand this whole idea of starting college young and these like crazy scenarios that sound cool, like he's successful, but you feel disconnected from everybody else. You're not socially aware. You're at a different age. You feel uncomfortable, and there's something cool about these, success stories, but people don't understand being in it. You're isolated. You feel alone, right?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like I was in a miserable place. I still had a great experience, made friends, but still, even then, like just not going through the same socialization experience still put me at a disadvantage socially, and I was still awkward coming out of everything.
So I guess what you're saying is like at the time it wasn't so bad, but it sounds like later in your life it led you kind of down a little bit of a darker road where you got stuck in places. Maybe you can talk to me about that, because the initial was okay, but where you said you didn't develop. So what problems did that cause later in life for you?
Yeah, so fast forward, I would just go straight into my 20s. I mean, I'll be candid with you guys on video. I was through a series of honestly unhealthy relationships. I mean, I'll put it out there. My relationships, because I didn't, again, go through high school or college at the same age as everyone else. This sounds really bad, but I was in relationships with women who were married and, that whole thing. So it was just like really turbulent, dysfunctional, and I went through a lot of, turmoil going in and out of relationships that were not ideal, so to speak.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I think there's, unfortunately, glamorization of just getting women. And, some of these guys, they're trying to get women that are married, or trying to get women that have boyfriends. And there's this glamorization of getting that woman. But you've experienced that, and it's just not healthy. It's not good. It's toxic. And it sounds like some part of you realized that it just wasn't good for you, and you needed to find out why that was happening and how to fix that so you had more healthy relationships.
Yeah, as you've described, it's all of the above. Plus, honestly, it's just morally wrong. So, you know, not to beat around the bush, but yeah, after a while, I got frustrated with that. And the last breakup that I had with a married woman was so bad that I was actually, at that point of my life, I legitimately had suicidal thoughts, thinking that there was just no future because I had known this woman for over 10 years. And don't want to get into specifics of that, but I knew that things had to change and that I had to seek out relationships in a more healthy way.
Now, what do you think drove you towards these toxic relationships to begin with?
Number one is the chase. So I'm a very competitive person by nature, whether it's academics, athletics, or whatever. So just the pursuit, the chase of trying to seek someone that's unavailable, and then just winning, well, quote, winning, and getting that woman or being with that woman, however you want to phrase it. It's so shallow in hindsight, but that's what it kind of was about. And number two, availability. So these women, believe it or not, were co-workers at different jobs that I worked. So again, socially awkward, didn't have a big social circle from, college, etc. So where else can I meet and talk to women regularly? My job. And for you guys listening out there, you don't want to you don't want to shit where you eat. So finding girls at your job, it can work out. It can lead to something great, but sometimes, especially if they're married, it's just going to lead to no good.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting because it's so funny. I mean, it's not funny, but it's ironic. You've combined the two things that guys struggle with most when they can't get options outside of that is they go after coworkers because it's like you said, easy, and they go after married women or boyfriends because that ego drive to win, right? And you're mixing the two together, and it's just this mess. And I think it sounds like it wasn't congruent with who you are and your ethics. You didn't want to be this person, but you were driven by maybe some insecurity of ego and proving yourself. And I identify with that because before I learned this stuff, before I became a coach, I had major insecurities that made me want to chase and win and be better than other guys and through women and getting women. And, that's why I ended up being a pickup artist for a time to get women and win that way. And I realized that's not healthy. And the guy you become is end up a guy who's just trying to prove yourself to other guys and society. And you're not even really engaging with those women. And if they're already married or in a relationship, you can't even connect with them properly. There's all this toxicity. And then the whole idea with coworkers, sometimes feelings develop, but when it's only coworkers, it's a lot of times out of need because you don't have the options outside. You're not able to approach in a bar, you're not getting matches. And it's so much easier to, engage and try and seduce women that are already talking to you, right? They're already happen to see you, and all you got to really do is be a cool guy, flirt a little bit, and you can make it work. And so for any guys watching this, I don't want to tell you, like, if you're not getting laid or you can't get a girlfriend, to just talk to your coworkers, because that's just, you've said it's terrible. And the best way to do that is twofold. I think it's to improve your internal self-worth so you don't feel like you have to win. Chasing is fun, but you can chase just any attractive women out there. The game's always fun, but you shouldn't be doing it from a place of trying to win and trying to prove anything. More of a place because you want to chase a hot woman and you want to get women into your life, and that's fun, but it's more of of an engaging process. And whether it's multiple women or girlfriend, you want to treat them with respect and you want to have a good time. You want her to enjoy the process as well. So I appreciate you sharing that with us, and I think there's something really valuable in admitting something as dark as that. It's a mistake and you've moved on from that, and I think that's really brave of you to do. So I appreciate you sharing that with us. So maybe we can move a little bit forward to where exactly you were at before joining our MForce coaching program, what you learned in the program, and then we can share with the guys this your success story after that. So yeah, maybe you can tell us exactly what you were stuck with when you first wanted to join our program.
Right. So I joined MForce in the early summer of 2019. I think it was either in May or June, and I was still single. It had already been a year after the bad breakup, but when you have a terrible breakup, it can take more than a year to get over, especially as a guy. So I was doing my own thing, moving forward. I was traveling the world. I was self-employed, and so on. But I was still not in a fulfilling relationship. And it's not so much, Josh, that I was actively looking for a relationship or trying to chase the next girl to get into a relationship, but I knew that my interpersonal skills had to improve, and along with just like doing things like screening and knowing how to find, I don't want to say leads, but opportunities to meet women in other circles. And MForce helped me with that. I'll admit I'm not the most active person in the community, but I do read most of the posts. I am reading the WhatsApp messages from time to time. Nice. And just within MForce, since the time I've joined, I found a great girlfriend who actually now is my business partner, and we're still living together here in Las Vegas, and we're doing well. So we're happy.
That's amazing, man. That's so exciting for you. So it's awesome. It sounds like, so you're talking about the socialization that you learned with us, any more specifics things you tried, things that worked for you, things you did with this woman that you said, okay, take this, I wouldn't say technique, we have techniques, but more of like a communication skill, a flirting skill, something specific that you learned with us that you were able to use.
Yeah, I think the big paradigm shift, Josh, is look, I would say most of us have had exposure to the quote dating self-help industry prior to encountering you, right? So we come with either preconceived notions or unhealthy habits. And what I had to shift working with you, David, and in the community is just the outlook that I need to have a more healthy relationship between myself and just the external world with how I view women, how I treat women, and not to chase women. Instead, just socialize with women, as you said, flirt, talk. And from there, it's going to be like a reciprocal qualification, is if you're the right fit for the woman, and if the woman is the right fit for you, and if it clicks, great. That's going to be an opportunity to have a relationship. And yeah, I would just say it's like not trying too hard, not forcing anything. Just being. I know this sounds so cliche, but being your genuine self, and just see where the four pieces may fall, and if you have compatibility with a woman and it's reciprocated, you have potential for a relationship.
Yeah, and it sounds like I like how you said genuine self because we always hear the be yourself thing, but I feel like that's just it's misinterpreted because your real self is this internal thing you need to bring out. And so I like to say to guys, don't be yourself. Your current self is this, struggling shell. It's you need to become a better version of yourself, right? And it sounds like through this process, through our coaching, you become a better version of yourself. You've let go of some of this toxicity, a lot of this toxicity, if not all of it, and developed healthier relationships by just opening that shell that you had and letting your true self out, becoming a better version. So I love that you said that. And then also, despite your, socialization that you felt didn't go very well, I feel like you did learn a lot of the externals, like you're a sociable guy, you're articulate, you're able to talk, you don't come off odd or strange at all. You're very normal and socialized. And I think that is more external. And I think what you struggled with when you came to us was much more internal. And that's what I found. And it sounds like you can, tell me in your own words, but it sounds like what we helped you do was develop a healthier internals with yourself and how you feel about yourself and how you relate to people.
Yeah, Josh, I'm 32 years old. I'm a professional internet marketer. So, of course, as far as the externals, I'm going to appear polished, articulate, and well spoken. However, what I can't synthesize or artificially inflate on social media are my internal struggles and whatever sticking points that I still have. And so, look, I'm not perfect. I still have communication issues when I come into conflict with my girlfriend or even others, like colleagues. So there's always things to improve upon, but yeah, my externals at this age, I'm 32, it's solid. But look, it took me until the age of maybe 30 to come off as decent as far as the externals. Internally, I still have my struggles, but it's definitely a process in the works, and we've been improving, working together. So that's where we're at.
It's so great to hear that, man. And I think we have this image, whether you start a program or not, that it's all going to be solved. And it's never solved. It's the constant problem. Even myself, I'm not perfect. We're human beings. And I think there's something powerful in relating to each other and realizing we're always improving. I have other parts of my life. My dating life is great, but my other parts of my life aren't. And we all have these struggles, and we can't be superhuman with each other. We have to be able to share. And so maybe, you haven't participated as much in the group, but you've seen it. You've seen the guys. You've followed a little bit. So maybe you can talk about just you're more of an observer, right? You've more observed, which is totally fine. You've been busy with your businesses. So maybe you can talk about more as an observer what you've seen from the group aspect versus just either talking to me one-on-one or like words on a page or videos that you watch. From the group aspect, what have you observed really?
Yeah, so honestly, Josh, with age comes wisdom sometimes. So a lot of your clients, maybe it's fair to say, are in their 20s from what I can ascertain, early to mid 20s. And so there's just a lot of experience, or I guess you could say field experience that hasn't been accrued yet, lessons learned, etc. So honestly, you guys listening out there, you're going to have to just screw up sometimes and make mistakes. You are going to make mistakes, but realize that whatever you're going through right now, look, what you guys don't even realize. You could be 25 and dead broke. You could be a freaking millionaire by the time you're 30. You don't know. Anything can change in 1 year. And so if you're going through something dark or you're hitting rock bottom now, realize, I know this sounds a little bit hard to comprehend, maybe even insincere, but whatever you're going through right now isn't that huge of a deal. You can improve, you can overcome, you can adapt, and you can move forward. So don't get stuck over, like, maybe I saw, like, the other day, someone mentioned, I won't get into confidential details, someone mentioning that their ex was posting their breakup on social media, and he was wondering how he deals with drama. Dude, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Just block her, move on. There's much more other things you could be doing with your life. So just don't get too caught up with whatever happens as far as your relationships. I know that sounds a little bit hard to comprehend, but just keep moving forward with your life, keep developing yourself, and you'll be okay in time. You'll make it.
Awesome. And I think I love your perspective of it's like not a big deal thing, but it's hard to watch. Guys are like, it is a big deal. And I think that's what coaching really brings, whether it's me or any coaches. A coach really, his job is to put that in perspective, right? He's to help you navigate this not a big deal because it feels like a big deal. And his job is to calm you down, say, we can do this, man, and then help you guide you on a path to making it not a big deal, right? So,
yeah, I mean, look, relationships can be traumatic, definitely. I'm not denying that. But you're not dying. You're gonna be okay.
Yeah. And that's the first step. And then you still need some tweaks in here and there and a how to, and but really developing you. And I think that's what we try and do is really, what do you need to work on? You need to work on your internals. So we do that. Other guys are different. Other guys need to work on their externals, right? So I think we really fit what you needed. And that's why it was so successful for you. So it's great to hear that story. Now, the last thing I guess I want to ask you is, if a guy's watching right now and he's thinking, should I join MForce coaching program or not? What would you say to that guy?
I'm not being a paid endorsement. I'm not getting any affiliate commission for saying this. Absolutely. Look, there's the free group just to test the waters out, join the community, get active, seek help. We have a great crew of guys, both at the beginner level. Well, I don't even want to say beginner. Both of those who are struggling and wanting advice, and then people who are out there that are maybe experienced or who have overcome trauma that are relatable to your experiences that can help you. And if you really want more personalized help, absolutely join MForce. It's worth the money. I'm a paying subscriber, and I can tell you it's worth the money and more. So you have all the resources you need to overcome and develop and move forward with however you want to with your dating life.
Awesome, man. That's amazing to hear. I want to thank you so much for joining me and being brave enough really to share your story. And I know it's always tough to, really come out and say what's going on with you, and even if it was in your past. I'm so proud of what you accomplished. It's great to hear you're in an amazing relationship now. And thanks for coming on and sharing your story with all these guys who are now struggling, and see your success through the process and how they can eventually do that too. So,
thanks for having me, Josh. I appreciate it.